Yeah. Hello. How y'all doing tonight? I see Luke and Eric and Paul and Miss Sally on Romper Room. Good evening, everybody. Jeff. Um, Sorry you're stuck at the airport, Jeff. Sounds like you guys are having a blast down there. Um, So it was what? That's a heck of a. How many inches of rain did you say had fallen? Um, I know it's a ridiculous amount. And so Requiem, welcome. I good to see you. I just noticed that screen names are 140p. Screen names are not showing up correctly, and my chat's not showing up correctly tonight. Well, let me see something here. See if I can't, real quick, look away. Actually, no, that'll screw something else up. So, anyway, let me give that a try again. What the heck? Yeah, no. All right. It was working an hour ago. Actually, I'll just go for water. So anyway, good evening. That's a heck of a lot of storm. 14 inches in 24 hours. YouTube being YouTube, you know. Hey, Danny. Good to see you. Let's see. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. What was in the jam tonight? Let's see if that works. Pretty much the same as last week, honestly. So the reason for it, Luke, is that in some viewing situations you can't see the chat, and so it doesn't make a lot of sense that I'm responding to something that people can't see. So that's why we like to put the chat up. And the other thing is, for the first 24 to 48 hours that it takes to process this video, there's no chat available to see. So anyway, so I'm now having to look over to the side to read the chat real small. Anyway, what was in the jam? Let's take a look. If nothing else works, we can at least do dissolves tonight. There we go. So in the jam, we've got playing now is Cult, and I'm still using a lot of the patches and stuff that I'm going to be using Saturday. After the show on Saturday, I will probably change. Well, we'll talk about that, but I'll change some stuff up. I just don't want to break anything right now. Most of what you're hearing is getting transferred over to the laptop for the live set, and so Cult is doing the Cult thing that Cult has been doing here, and it's this is a slightly modified factory patch. One of the ones done by Data Broth. His patches are always excellent. Just a factory patching Cult. I really like Cult. It's I don't discovered a couple weeks ago that I had bought it, or I had not bought it, and oh, thanks, Paul, appreciate it. I may have you delete it afterwards, but we'll see how it goes. So anyway, Cult's there. I thought I had bought it and discovered I hadn't. So now I have rectified that. And then we've also got Contrast, and Contrast is doing the Man in the Moon Made of Bread patch we made last week. And so Saturday I'll be using both this patch and the Keith and Me patch that we did a couple 3 weeks ago. And if I get my act together, the photographs that back these up will actually make their way into the video production for the show on Saturday. That is, if I get my act together and get them emailed over to the fellow who's doing the graphics. But so this is the Man in the Moon patch. Let's duck out that guy. of the things I'm doing in this patch is I've got, as you go up the keyboard, the envelope for the amp, and I think the filter too, are both altered. So they can play as a lead over a pad. So this can actually be one, one part. Ooh, I'm down an octave. And there's obviously a whole lot of effect on that. So there's that. And then my favorite multi-poly patch is going on as well. And this is, Recitation 4. And I have no idea why I called it that. I'm lousy at naming patches. So this is running through Stepic to sequence this. If I turn sequencing, if I turn the Stepic off, plays like this. And there's still some, obviously still some beat sequenced sample and hold stuff going on. So this allows this to be used as both a lead and a sequence. There's a little vibrato on aftertouch. Hey Joe, I will get to your question shortly. So anyway, that, and then of course the other thing that was in the jam coming off the BARP. Got this thing going on. This does a whole bunch of different stuff. Ooh, that's loud tonight. Turn that back down. Tonight I was just using it as a straight lead, mostly. A lot of real-time manipulation. And this is basically a refinement of the patch that I've been working on with this for the show. So it does a whole bunch of different stuff. It's got that kind of lead thing. I can either use the arpeggiator in the key step to do some filter mod stuff like so. Let's get my mix right. And mixed in with that is the output from the ring modulator. I can also flip over, and basically the bottom down in the Eurorack section is almost another complete synth. I am borrowing two of the voices from the BARP or oscillators from the BARP to feed this. They both go into the filter here, which is in a Behringer 110 module. And I've got the filter somewhat frequency modulated using the first oscillator from the 2600. And I can also flip the first oscillator to LFO mode. And I've got the LFO, I've got the rate, by doing this, I've got the rate tied to keyboard. So that's pretty much all that's gone there. I did go ahead and put in the function junction. I took the step sequencer out, so now I have the function junction modulating the attack and decay time of the first channel of the abacus, and that is coming over and also modulating filter cutoff for the BARP filter, and the maths is doing a bunch of other stuff too. So anyway, that all of the stuff coming off of the modular runs through, which you can't see, the plethora, a delay and a reverb in the plethora X3. So that is pretty much everything that was in the jam tonight. And let's see, what else you got here? Chat is not showing usernames because YouTube is rolling out new feature. Oh joy, just what we need, new features. So I haven't used the junction much. I just put it in the other day. And so like I say, I'm only doing the one thing with it, Jeff. Right now, just using the function generator to be a kind of sort of funky shaped LFO to mod that attack and decay time on the filter envelope. So, but yeah, I like it so much. The only thing I don't like about it is the LEDs are super bright. So the headphones, Joe, and I went back a couple of months ago, maybe 3 months ago now, something like that. I modified mine. So instead of having the ear cups are modified, they don't have the standard Sony ear cups anymore. I'm using or pads. I'm using the pads from Bear Dynamic DT250, and they make an amazing difference in the headphones. If you thought 7506s were good, then this change makes them that much better. I've been using 7506s as long as 7506s have been available, and I've liked them so much over the years. I now own 3 pair. So very, I mean, I think they're one of the best headphones available, especially at $90, $100, whatever it is now. They might go up, but you know. So anyway, I did a video on swapping the ear cups out, or the ear pads out. Yeah, I'll take a look, and there may be a way, Jeff, to there may be something in the instructions that I haven't read yet. I just plugged it in and started playing. let's see. They do. Well, I don't know about the 770s. I've only listened to the 770s for a short period of time. I did when I went out to Sweetwater. Turn that other mic off. When I went out to Knob Con and came back through Sweetwater, I tried all the Bear Dynamic headphones. I still came away liking these better. Although if all of my pairs of 7506s failed tomorrow, I might look at the 770s. The thing but I just buy another pair of these probably. Because yeah. So so the replacement pads hack is really simple. I mean I'll just tell you. You take the old ones off, and you put the new ones on. The trickiest part is there's a little foam insert that you have to kind of hold in place while you're putting it on. The fit on these is actually a little more snug and a little better than the original Sony pads, and certainly better than some of the other ones that I did try. And yeah, I can go down and replace resistors. What the heck? I mean, I'd have to figure out what's in there and put in another, choose another value to play with. But I have had to replace. So the interesting thing, I mean, I've had the Sonys since they came out, and on each pair I've only had to replace the pads once in all these years. But I've replaced them twice, and the reason is I replaced them with something else, and ended up really not liking them, the other pads. And so when I found out that these were the same dimension, it was like, I ordered a pair up and tried them and loved them, and then quick did the other two pair. These are nice because these are what are these? It's kind of like a that's some sort of cloth finish, so it doesn't get all sweaty like the other ones do, and they don't get attacked by your skin. Or by the oils on your skin. So I do like this. Yeah, and I do like the Sonys, obviously, because I've stuck with them all these years. Hey, Donna. Chiming in from the dining room. Yeah, leather is definitely in quotes there, Joe. Pleather, or maybe it's genuine Naugahyde, or real Corinthian leather. Circle R. Oh my. So anyway, yeah. So that was what's in the jam. I'm wearing my headphones. Let's see. Where next? Oh, so yeah. So where next? Joe asks why Omnisphere was on the table, and it does a lot of things. It makes a lot of noises I like. That's why. It's and also, how can I go wrong? Luke tells me it's worth every penny. And this is the type to cue for Luke to type in worth every penny. Yeah, key step is on the table, right? So is the Control S on the other table. So anyway, let's move forward, because we could tell funny jokes all night. Let's see. So yeah, let's talk about this. Omnisphere. So every so to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak, I have ordered Omnisphere, and the I ordered the box version, and it should be here sometime. Not sure. Um, and So, Paul, I don't generally mix in cans. That's why I have nice studio monitors. But there are times when mixing in cans is advantageous. Um, I don't know. I don't know, Luke. It comes up with a lot of warmth. That's for sure. Um, you don't have to buy it, Jeff. You don't have to buy it. But I made the well. So yeah. That and Danny, that's kind of there's detail that you miss in I think in studio monitors, even really good ones. You know that you're kind of forced to hear in headphones. Um, so I make a lot of detailed decisions in headphones, and then a lot of and then the overall mix is done in monitors and in the truck and wherever else. Um, so I have a little trepidation about this Omnisphere thing because I can't run Serum 2. It just will not run on my machine. I mean, it runs, but it's really a bad scene. Um, it yeah, it just bad for his wallet too. I need to get a kill switch that I can put on my foot or something. Um, so why the box version? Um, a couple reasons. One, the install's a little leaner, although there'll still be a chunk of downloaded install time. The other reason, one of the reasons that I got it, one of the big reasons that I got the box version is because I was able to get a chunk of change off. So if you go to Sweetwater or most retailers and buy the box version, it's $20 off. Um, and so there's savings there. And then I got it through Alto Music. They're running a 15% off coupon. So I ended up spending a little over 400 instead of a little under 500. So I saved a chunk of change. The other thing that I wanted to do was not have it immediately. And the reason is I can't be distracted right now because I'm still prepping for Saturday. And I know me, if I get if I get a new box of software, that's all that I'll play with. And so, I need to I need to concentrate on getting the set ready for Saturday. So it should time out very well that I'll have everything ready for Saturday. And then Omnisphere will get here as I'm putting the studio back together. I'll install Omnisphere, take out a bunch of stuff because there's a lot of stuff. I mentioned Pivot in the title here. And the deal is that when I bring stuff back from the show, I got to take a bunch of stuff out of here to do the show, or some stuff out of here to do the show. So when I bring stuff back, I'm going to do that rearrangement that I've been talking about. And as part of the rearrangement, there's things that aren't coming back into the studio. And so Omnisphere, well, I mean, I've got everything that's going out. Mostly I have in software, so I won't miss it. But I also have I got stuff going out. Frees up a lot of space. Takes care of some other issues that I'm having. Like right now, in order to hook everything up in here, I'm out of inputs, and so I decided to go ahead and don't play out. I don't play out often anymore. When I did play out often, I had a rig just for playing out. And then I had a completely separate rig here in the studio. The thing that I usually take when I go out to play with other people now is I usually take the Take 5. But for Saturday, I'm taking the modular and computer and a couple of controllers, and of course all the cables and stuff that go to hook it all up. So I'm trying to keep it relatively simple. And I have yet to, I've done some preliminary testing. It looks like what I've got, this will all run on the laptop. Take 5 is fantastic for gigging. It's fantastic for anything. Oh, the other another really cool thing, the Take 5 will probably make its way back into the studio too, because the Take 5 can be a fairly full-featured controller for Omnisphere. Apparently, it's on the list. The only thing they say doesn't work has to do with what was it? Oh, I know what it is. The envelope routing. So on the Take 5, you have a couple different choices for how the envelopes work. And what they control. And so I usually have mine set up so one envelope controls amplitude, the amplifier, the other controls the filter. But you can set it up so one amp controls both amp and filter, and the other one can be used for other stuff. So that function goes away. In that function you can't use in Omnisphere. Everything else, according to the documentation, everything else pretty much matches right up. So filter controls are filter controls, and so that's and then in Omnisphere you can reroute things anyway. So I'm not really giving anything up, but I'm getting a nice hands-on control for a soft synth from the manufacturer. From the manufacturer of the soft synth or the software house. So that's it. It's the only thing really that does it. Besides, what's really the only thing that does it in that kind of manner. And so this goes so. So Jeff, yeah, I could do that. I could do that with the Control S, but we talked before about the reason that I chose this guy as a semi-modular was because the patch points are right near the things you're patching. So there's not that, by using the Take 5 as a controller for Omnisphere, the filter control on the Take 5 controls the filter in Omnisphere. The cutoff control, the resonance control. They all control exactly what they say on the tin. So so I can tell you from experience, Joe, that the Pro 800 is fantastic on a gig. Now, my experience is slightly dated, but a Prophet 600 was fantastic on a gig. And so, by extension, the Pro 800 is going to be fantastic on a gig. Actually, better, I think, than the Pro 800. And the Pro 800, so if you look in the list, if you look in the list of supported synthesizers that can be controllers for Omnisphere, the Pro 800's in there. So, and the only thing, the cross mod stuff doesn't translate across because that's kind of special. But that's in there. So you know, also they do have not full NKS, but they do have support in Omnisphere for the Control S, my controller. They have support in the box for the key labs, not the key steps, but the key lab. Actually, no, the key step is in there as well. Pretty much all of the Arturia controllers are in have pre-made templates or pre-made setups for Omnisphere. So yeah, it's optional for me too, Joe. And so yeah, that's really what it is. So my plan is that Omnisphere will take over the bread and butter stuff, and the other stuff that I have will be the special sauce. So it's it's there is a plan, and it basically this all works into the whole simplification of what I need to do in here. I need to simplify this down. And let's see, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. The disappointment that I have is that the Polybrute does not have. They don't have a template or setup for the Polybrute. I think they do have the Matrix Brute, Jeff. I think. Don't quote me, but I think you can control everything in Omnisphere from the Matrix Brute. Actually, we can look. Let me. Of course, I have to go away from chat to do that. Omnisphere. Let's see. Scroll down here. Oh, you're not seeing this. Let's see. Let's do that. So we can scroll down here somewhere. Here we go. Supported hardware. And we look in Arturia. And there you go, Jeff. Matrix Brute. The Matrix Brute is... oops, wrong one. Matrix Brute is supported. So there you go. Now you got to buy. Now you have to buy Omnisphere. Let's see what they say about that in the specifics as to what does and doesn't work. Let's see. There are some caveats, it looks like. Obviously the mod matrix, FM's not, ring mod's not. Unison is, Harmonia is. So there's a few things that aren't controllable from the Matrix Brute, but at least something is, and unlike the multi-poly, the multi-brute, poly-brute. Too many multis and polys and brutes and stuff. Anyway, I really do. It'd really be really cool if the polybrute could someday control Omnisphere. All right, where'd the chat go? Let's see. That's not it. There it is. Whoa, look at all that stuff. So, and I'm just catching up. Let's see. Or trying to catch up. It won't let me scroll back. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Let's see. What is Luke checking? Well, so yeah. I mean, I'm almost. But you like twisting knobs, and so look at the controller list and see. There's a lot of stuff supported, and it maps at least to the global. If let me go back to the graphic real quick. Boom, boom. So next we'll take it full screen. So this global screen section there in the center, there's some stuff on either side too. Those things are typically mapped like to almost every controller. Even the Control S. There's like 8 controls there that are mapped by default, and they're the important ones. So you can twist the knobs, and So this has probably got about the best integration between hardware and software that that you can get. And Danny, I like that. I like that integration that Korg does as well. I'm not getting rid of any of the software, any of the Korg software. And then the other thing that helps me there with the Korg software, I think I've shown this before. I don't have it loaded up correctly in the project that's running right now, but I could do it. What the heck? I'll show you. So if we go into the DAW, let's get that out of the way. I'll build another track real quick. We'll just stick it here because I probably should anyway. So let's insert a MIDI track, and we're going to grab. Now, in my case, this works with Control S. So I'm going to go to synths, and I'm going to grab complete control and stick it on the track. And we'll wait for that to load. Come over to here, go to my user stuff, come down here, and provided I didn't break anything, yeah, here we go. We'll open up multi-poly native. It's going to make a buzzing noise. Sorry, guys. Come on. There we go. So now I have, and sorry about that blast. It's one thing that I don't like about NKS is it insists on playing the silly stuff for you. So let me move camera 2 over to, here we go, to Control S, and it's moving around, and come to here, and so I will show, let's see, let's show DAW and camera 2. So here we come around slowly. I'd actually really rather have this the other way. Okay, let's just go. So it's a little out of focus at the moment. Let's see if I can get that to fix. So there's a company called Freelance Soundlabs. That's as good as it's going to get right now. I don't know why it's fighting me, but anyway, probably because the contrast ratio is too high. So basically, I've got all the important controls in the first screen, and then there's screen after screen. All of the functions of the multi-poly are here at my fingertips. Yeah, it was a lovely sawtooth, wasn't it? Yeah, but PTZ focus doesn't matter at 140. No focus matters at 140. Now it's the contrast, because if you look here, the keys are nice and sharp, and the stuff up here is nice and sharp. Everything's nice and sharp except the screen and the stuff that's bright. And it's because I've got the, it's because of the exposure settings. Let's see if I can get it to drive exposure down now. And I don't know where the remote. Oh, here it is. Let's see. Now I don't have good exposure control there. Let's see. I'm swimming around the studio looking to get let's see, one of my remotes and see if I can get it to give me. There we go. Exposure. Whoa, I got exposure control. See, as soon as I start to get too bright, it starts to, it blooms. So when I've got it down like that, you can see that I've got the, right here I'm looking at the B amp, the B ampli, the layer B amplitude envelope, and the C. I got, so all 4 layers. Oscillator volumes and pans, the whole shooting works. So yeah, I need a crew in here. I need a director and a producer and and camera operators and the whole thing. Somebody to be running around fixing my chat overlay, but anyway, we do what we can. So anyway, so that knob, that control, yeah, moderators wanted. I got a I got moderators. The but they can't reach in and grab the controls of the stuff here. So anyway, I've got that hands-on control, and it's good enough. It's good enough for me. I mean, everything's here, and I can also, if I want to, I could do my own custom controls as well. This is easy and looks good. And so the same fellow who does the ones for the Korgs, it's called Freelance Soundlabs, I think it's called. He also does an NKS overlay for Omnisphere. Now he's only got 2.5, I think, or whatever the previous version was. I think it was 2.5 or 2.8, whatever it is. He had that one done, but he's already started on 3, on version 3. So I would, that'd be great, Joe. That'd be fun. Hey, Sean, good to see you. So the next question that people might ask, because as you know, I was also looking at Falcon, and from last week, and why did I pick Omnisphere over Falcon? And Mixmaster, good to see you. One of the and Will, yes, hi. I'm missing people because the chat's not right in front of me like it usually is. And I apologize for that because I usually try and catch everyone as they come in the door. I haven't missed anybody else. Okay, good. So, I looked at Unify some time ago, and so I think Falcon is worth every penny. It really is. And at the intro, the version intro, the Falcon 2026 intro price, it's a steal. Here's the deal with Falcon and why I didn't go with Falcon. Falcon is overwhelming, and it is, if I want to be overwhelmed by something, I want to be overwhelmed by something I can this is where I do want something I can touch. Whoa, what the heck is it? That'll fix itself eventually. This is the thing where I get too many trying to use the same layer for too many things. So yeah, so much will. Exactly. Get back here. The bird's overwhelmed too. I guess you can all hear. Yeah, Birdie's tweet. So will both of them have much to buy? I mean, there's add-ins I could get for Omnisphere. The thing with Falcon is I watched Venus Theory, Cameron, do a deep dive demo on Falcon, and there's a couple of oscillators in there that I would really like to have that aren't in Omnisphere, because they really sound amazing. But to set up a patch in Falcon is it's you have to be careful where you put things, or the results that you get are going to be completely unrelated to what you were looking for, because there's a multi-layer stack, and if like you can, I don't know the exact names of all, but you got like a key group layer, and then you've got a layer above that that is the part maybe, and then there's a layer above that. So you can build a whole synth in a key group and have all kinds of that's where all your polyphonic controls go. So if you want polyphonic LFOs, polyphonic envelopes, you put those in the key group layer. But if you want a global LFO or a global envelope for the part, then you put that in the next layer up. And then you can go all the way up here where you've got multiple parts and then assign LFOs to control the entire shooting works. But if you get things out of order, you know, you're going to have a bad time figuring out where you went wrong. And you know, I would spend more time trying to figure out how to build a patch in that and not get anything done. And so Omnisphere, I don't want to say dumbs down, but it simplifies a lot of that. That it makes it a lot harder to make mistakes. And so yeah, Joe, the multi-poly it's you know, it can be a fairly overwhelming thing. I mean, you know, if we go into here, there's 4 layers. Each layer is a complete synthesizer, you know, and you know, so it's you got the synthesis, and each one's got its own sequencer and setups and chords and effects per layer. You know, and then there's global effects and or what they call main effects. One thing that you don't have in multi-poly that you'll have in like Omnisphere is you only get one arpeggiator in multi-poly, and it's kind of limited. The arpeggiator / sequencer in Omnisphere is really very cool. Almost to the point, and maybe to the point where I'll be relying a lot less on Stepic for sequencing, or for arpeggiation. So we'll see. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to slot in well. Like I said, to use Omnisphere for the bread and butter parts, and then the special sauce comes in from things like contrast or cult, or from favorite patches from the multi-poly and the wave state, op6 and mod wave. But I'll be doing the other thing is that most of those anyway I will be doing all in software going forward. So the op6, the wave state hardware, and the mod wave hardware, even though it hasn't even made it into the rack yet, that's probably going to go away. The multi-poly of those will be the last one that would actually leave me, because I want to see if I can map the chaos pad to part of the control in Omnisphere. They've got a thing called the orb, which is very much like a chaos pad in a lot of ways, or kind of like the XY pad on the Rolling Gaia 2, and actually almost a little more like the Gaia 2's XY pad, because you can record the route that you take, which you can't do on the multi-poly. But if I can control that, if I can map that somehow to control the orb, then I don't know if, I mean, the presets are great. I mean, they sound great, and there's more than you'll ever get through in your entire life. The presets for Omnisphere are, like I said, they're fantastic. They're really, really good. But you can make them your own. You can go in and edit stuff and make changes. This version of Omnisphere also adds the morph. What do they call it? Hold on, I gotta look at the screen again. It's not on the screenshot they got. There's a it's not morph. It's there's kind of like a mutate command. I think it's called mutate, and it's not like your typical randomizer. And we'll be playing with this in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, mutate is what it is, and the mutations are much more closely related to the source in the standard mode. So you'll get the first time you hit mutate, it'll maintain much of the original flavor, but may change some settings here and there, or maybe change an oscillator or something. The more you hit mutate, the further it goes, and then it's got this off the hook mode, so to speak. You hit it, it's still related in some way, but it may alter pretty much everything in the synth. So it's a really nice, really neat way to get to make a stock patch your own, sort of, without having to do a lot of work. The demos that I've seen of it are really, they were really persuasive. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, so you got all the yeah, so it's let's see, see if there's anything else. Oh, come on. I'm just looking at chat real quick just to make sure. So I don't mind USB 2, Paul, but and for an interface, I think that I don't know if I'm going to buy a new interface. Although I think that the interface may be part of my bottlenecking. A thing that I discovered, we can switch over to that topic real quick to follow up on last week. A thing I learned that so my interface right now is a Zoom L20R digital mixer / audio interface, and when there may be a compatibility issue between the Zoom interfaces prior to the L6. I haven't really looked at the L6 specs closely yet, but I say prior to L6, so that's going to be L20R, L20, L12, L8. The USB connection that they have, whatever they're doing in there for USB, they have now specified in the manual and online, buried in a corner of their website, that it is only guaranteed to be fully compatible with an Intel i-series processor and an Intel USB chipset. Anything else, they make no guarantees that it will work. And so that means that my machine, being Ryzen based, and having an AMD USB chipset, is right out as far as support is concerned. Also, may or may not work with a Apple Silicon machine. And this, as I said, this was added to the manuals and added to the website well after I bought the interface. Now it's working, and I've got the L20R, and I've got an L12. I'm using a Ryzen 9. So that I'm wondering if that subtle incompatibility is what causes me to have what I think to be a generally abnormally high CPU load in Ableton Live, because does it require the latest UART chip too? I don't know. The last UART chips, Paul, that I that I paid any real attention to were 16550s. did you ever notice the 16550 UART chip has the same part number as a particular type of LiPo battery? Go figure. These are the things that live in my head. My head is a scary, scary place sometimes. So anyway, I'm going to see how this performs. I was chatting in a little bit of chat with Chris Bryant today. He just installed Omnisphere 3 on his machine. He's running an older Ryzen 9. His machine is a couple 3 years older than mine. His CPU usage looks pretty good, and and so he's running a Ryzen 9 5900X. So he's still on the AM4 platform. He said that he's been going through a lot of problems with CPU usage and some other things lately as well. He went through and redefined how everything lives on his USB buses, and he said that cleared up a lot of issues. So that's something that when I put the studio back together after the live set next week, that's something I'll be paying pretty close attention to. I may go in and blow out all the USB assignments and kind of start from scratch there. Yeah. So anyway, the great simplification begins. The one that I've been threatening, and it doesn't even have to be class compliant USB-C. I mean, I've got my I know I do use a driver for the Motu, but so Windows supports the L20R with the lousy internal driver. I don't have to have the L20 driver installed for it to see all the inputs and outputs. I just never do it because they're so slow. So to your point there, Joe. Yeah, this is going to be different. This will be the first time I've ever done this in front of a live audience, besides online. I mean, it's not like you guys are dead or anything, but in a human to human situation, I mean, to go gig doing cover stuff, I barely thought twice about that after a while. Yeah, so the Motu M4, I use the Motu driver, but I don't know that I necessarily need to, because it's a class compliant device. And I've got other stuff around here had other stuff around here that's class compliant. It just hooks up and works. So anyway, I'm going to see what goes down with the interface issue after I put things back together and try and clean some stuff up. The other thing is I may not need as much of an interface as I was looking at before, so so there still may be a new interface down the road, but I'm gonna take things one step at a time and see how we do. Pace and hair gel. So Danny, there's a lot of those portable power stations are great for powering your gear outdoors, and you don't have to change anything besides plug into that instead of plugging into the wall. That's how they do it for during the spring, summer, and fall. There's a live modular event every month down in DC, and that's how they power that. They just use a battery box thing, and it drives all the synths, and it drives the PA, and works out real well. And it's very portable. Let's see what else. That's it. Okay. catching up on chat. Parks or something. So you know, well, that's essentially what it is, Paul. It's a deep cycle. Those things are rechargeable. They're small. They're not lawnmower batteries, but they're a deep cycle battery, and they're a power inverter. You know, I think they're using lithium batteries instead of lead acid, but you know, same kind of thing. They charge up pretty quick, and you know, one thing that I think it might be important to consider if you're looking at something like that is make sure that I would suggest getting one that's got what's called a pure sine wave output. A lot of the less expensive ones, the AC is very noisy. It's fine for running, you know, run of the mill stuff like when you go camping or whatever, or running lights and things like that. But when you're trying to run electronics, the AC that comes out of some of the less expensive ones is not real good, not real clean. So that's one thing, like I said, to look for in that regard. Yeah, the ones for camping, Joe, would be perfect because a lot of those are pure sine wave, and the one that the ones that they use for the modular on the mall things in DC, that thing runs for hours, like the better part of a day, because they start early afternoon and they go all afternoon into the almost to the early evening. So so anyway, something to look at. Depends on how long you want to be out there and how much stuff you want to schlep around. I don't think a power bank would run one of the Korgs very long. The Korgs have kind of special power requirements. So that's not a bad price for a pure sine wave UPS. Now UPS is not intended for long run times. You know, it's really intended to give you a short period of time that you can get around and turn everything off. And then some of them will actually send a command to your computer to turn it off. But so they're not really intended for long runs. I'm going to be taking one on Saturday because I'm going to have to set up and then be able to unplug and roll on, and I don't want to shut the modular down. If it's off for any amount of time, it definitely requires a retune, which is very quick, and then it will. It's very quick to tune, and it locks up pretty good as long as it's been temperature stabilized for a while. Some of the newer power banks will generate up to 20 volts or more as part of the USB power delivery spec. But the trick would be that you would have to do you'd have to figure out some way to get whatever you're plugging in to tell the power brick that you need the 12 volts or 19 volts or whatever it is it needs. So there's, you know, that would be kind of a pain in the butt. My put a generator, yeah. I would look at those like Joe is suggesting too. I would look at those battery things. Oh, let's see. Let me look something up here. Hang on. Portable. They call them solar generators, but they typically have little to do with that. Oops. Here we go. Boom. Let's see. I don't know how. Okay, so one of the brands, there's no, and I get no compensation for this, but one of the brands that is often comes highly recommended is something called Jackery, Jackery, and let's see. So let's look up theirs. And so now that I'm on their website, let's see. I don't know if theirs are. Geez, man, their website does all kinds of weird stuff. La 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 la. Shop. Let's go ahead and put that up. They've got all kinds of. They got big ones and small ones, but you know, something like. Well, this one comes with solar kit and everything for recharging. Block. Pop-ups galore. Leave me alone. Took me out of the page that I was looking at to, geez, that's annoying. Okay, portable power stations, that's what I want. I mean, some of these things are downright huge, but you wouldn't need, to do what we're talking about, you wouldn't need a huge thing, you know. Something like that, this guy would probably be more than enough to do what you want to do, someone would want to do for several hours. And it's got 120 volt outputs. It's got USB-Cs. There's a USB-A power delivery port out there. So you know all the modern stuff, and you know $380. And like I said, this is probably more than you would need, but they've got less expensive ones too. That would probably be just as well. What I don't know. Let's see what they say here. Maybe projector. Now they're talking about running computers off of it, or charging them off of it. You know, running PC off of it. This something like this would be fine for power for what we're talking about. And you know, you could drop a Furman, like one of those little Furman power conditioners in the line too if you're worried about it. It doesn't say if it's pure sine wave or not. At least not easy to find. Maybe in tech specs. Probably not. The battery output ports rated. I bet you it'd be fine. I bet you it would be perfect. And it's got the full power delivery on the USB as well, up to 100 watts on the USB-Cs. Or total, I'm sorry, 30 watts on USB-C and 18 max on USB-A. So that's, you know, that's pretty good. And then, like I said, it's got 120 volts out, so you can plug in anything you want. So that's what I would look at, something like that. And I might decide we want to get one of those at some point for camping too, maybe. It's only money. Let's see, get back to where I was over here because I couldn't see chat while I was going through that. Milwaukee stuff is incredibly it's incredibly good, but their stuff can be pricey. And Mixmaster links won't work, unfortunately, in the chat. There's another issue with yeah, that is a different topic, but about sheds. The other thing is that your typical shed that you buy for your garden shed or whatever, you have to be kind of careful because the the wood used, the lumber used, is not spec'd the same as a house, so it off gases more formaldehyde than the plywood in your house would. Okay, just the reference. Okay, so you got to be careful with that for something you're going to spend any amount of time in. That said, if you build the garden shed yourself, you can use whatever materials you want, and then you can insulate it and the whole thing. Because I'd love to be able just to drop a shed on the yard, finish it out inside, and call it my studio at some point. But that would involve staying in this house. So I don't know that we're going to do that for any or how long we're going to do that, which is another reason for my downsizing and simplifying goals. I'm looking back up through the chat, make sure everything's covered. Yeah. So the other thing too is we were talking about doing stuff live. Is there's a lot of battery powered PA now that's pretty good. I don't know how long. I don't know how long it would last. The reason for not AC power is sometimes you might be someplace where there's no AC power available, and so you have to bring your own. We've got, I think, 15 years in this house now, and it's the house is as old as I am, and it's in and I'm actually in better shape than the house is, I think. And so the lot is too big and too much to maintain. Why not AC power for a yeah? I mean, it depends. So in a lot of places, if you put just a shed outside, you can't run power to it. You have to have a you have to actually build it to different specs if it's going to be used for habitation, and then they consider it being used for habitation if you want to have power in it, which I think is ridiculous, but that's some places have those regulations. So I'm not the first owner of this house, and we've come to find out that many corners were cut over the years in this house, and so yeah, bring your own power to the shed. That's the your little carry, or there's nothing less fun than dragging an extension cord across the yard if it's raining and you want to go out to the studio. So it's and yeah, it's got to have HVAC, either a wall air or a mini split. So that needs power. It's all the stuff. So anyway, Luke, good to see you. Thanks. It is getting time for bed. It's actually getting time to wind down. I know Jeff is not streaming tonight because they're having hella storms down there where he is, and last I knew he was still stuck at the airport, not being able to get out. Hopefully things have calmed down and it's not flooded in at the airport anymore. But anyway, it is 25 and a half after, so would like to yeah, I can't remember what year the time your house was built, Paul, but I know what was going on in the area at that time, and yeah, about the finest craftspeople Heckinger could dredge up. It was an interesting time in Ellicott City / Columbia / so you were at least on the tail end of the badness. The 80s were really horrible, especially the mid to late 80s in that area, where just home building was awful. So anyway, like I said, that's going to about do it for me for the night. Appreciate everyone stopping by. Yeah, that's that FRT stuff off gas for formaldehyde like crazy. Was killing people. So let's see. So PreSonus login lockup issues. Okay, that is good to know about. Mixmaster, because one of the things I was thinking about. So I've been used. I mentioned this last week. I've used PreSonus mixers a lot over the years, and including their digital, digital ones on festival stages and stuff like that. And they've been great. So I was considering the possibility of one of their rack mixers in place of in place of this one. But I think really if I do end up having to replace the interface, I'm either going to try and do a Motu, which would be my first choice, or a Focusrite, which would be my second choice. I would really like to have the Arturia, but it's too much money and will end up being more than I need. So I love PreSonus gear. I've never had a lick of trouble with what I've used. Now I've not owned any myself, but I've used a bunch of it on jobs, and it's for live work anyway. It's always just worked and sounded great, and been easy to deal with. So anyway, thanks everybody for stopping by. Like I said, I'm gonna call it a night. I'll play out for a couple of minutes. And like I said, no stream next week because I will. I don't think I might keep an eye out, but I'm doing this thing next week. If you're in the Baltimore area, this is a good time. There'll be a lot of great music and a lot of great noise and some fun people. And I will leave links or information to where you can find more information in the show notes either probably tomorrow sometime. So anyway, thanks everybody again, and I will see you all later. If not next week, the week after. Oops, still had that up.